If it was hard to say no to the kid's mom, imagine saying no to the sad, big blue eyes of a 3-year-old. It was never going to happen. Every time he visited his friends, he'd spend most of his time sitting on the floor playing with their son. But he loved every minute of it.
"Found it,"
the boy screamed, and then smiled at him.
"Looky."
He pulled a small truck out from behind his back.
"Daddy got it for me."
He handed the small brush truck to him. This one was white, and when he touched the lights on top, they kicked on, along with a loud siren. He glanced up at Allison, who cringed a little, and then looked over to her husband and used sign language to say something to him, making him chuckle. Lane knew enough sign language to understand that she was threatening to pull the batteries out of the new toy. He smiled and sat down on the hardwood floor to play with the kid.
"So?"
Allie walked over to sit down on the large leather sofa.
"So?"
Allie walked over to sit down on the large leather sofa. "So?" He refused to glance up at her. Instead, he kept his eyes glued to the toys as he watched Connor's chubby hands pushing the trucks all around him while making even more siren noises.
"Lane,"
Allie sighed as her husband sat next to her and watched them all. He glanced up, then over at Ian, who just shrugged his shoulders and signed slowly along as he spoke in a low voice. "It's up to you. You did say you needed to raise more money for the new firehouse." He rolled his shoulders and thought about the new firehouse they were building on the far side of his hometown. Pride County Fire and Rescue still needed a few $100,000 to pay for the trucks and gear that were needed for the new building. Pride had grown up so fast in the past 4 years, another firehouse was a requirement, not a luxury. But since the county was strapped, the firehouse had taken to fundraising and had put Lane in charge of the entire process. And he had to admit, Allison's idea was the best one he had heard so far. He had known Ian and Allison for as long as he could remember. When Ian had lost his hearing when he had turned 18, Lane had stuck it out with his friend and had learned the basics of sign language. And when Ian and Allison had finally gotten together a few years back, it hadn't surprised anyone in town. They were a perfect match,